Good afternoon, everyone. Once again, thanks for joining us for another Amazon Live webinar. My name is Jun Liang, and today, once again, we are very happy to have Ethan to join us to share with us the marketplace product guidance and how to find opportunities using the tools that is available that she will share with us in this session. Thanks, Ethan, for joining us. And as you can see or hear, my voice is not very good. I'll try my best. Let me know if you all cannot understand. I will type it out. All right, thank you. So moving on, I will just to do a quick introduction on Amazon Seller Education. So that's the team I'm in, and the team actually provides like free education and training through a variety of learning programs such as Seller University and the one you're attending now, which is the live webinars. All right, and then the slides we won't be sharing, but it's available in our official YouTube playlist and also will be in the website. So do head on to rewatch it if you need to. And then all for question, do let us know in the question box, usually on your right hand side. And last but not least, the information that we are sharing today is accurate as of today. So it's always good to refer back to the online resource such as Seller University or Seller Central Help for the most updated information. Thank you. For a quick important notice to read through it. And then I'll move on to the next one where I will pass it to Ethan to kickstart. Thank you, Ethan. Over to you.
Thanks, Jin Liang. Hi, everyone, again. I'm not sure if you have attended the previous webinar on Opportunity Explorer, but today is going to be an exciting one. We are going to be talking about this tool called Marketplace Product Guidance, which has been there for the longest time, even before Opportunity Explorer exists, but actually many of the sellers do not know or haven't heard about it or even used before. So, which is why I'm here to tell you how to best use this tool in order to find what are the top categories on Amazon and also how you can actually use that to cross-launch to other marketplaces. Then after that, I'll have a quick refresher on the product research journey. So what I'll be talking about there basically is how you'll be able to use the Marketplace Product Guidance tool together with Opportunity Explorer in order to find a new product, develop a product, and to see how you can further optimize your content based on that. Okay, so let me just move on to the first topic of the day. Okay, so what is this Marketplace Product Guidance? This is a selection tool that has been around since the longest time. So what it does is it mainly helps new sellers to find out what are the top categories available on the different marketplaces. So it can be US or Europe marketplaces, etc. Apart from that, giving you category insights, we also will tell you based on the existing product that you are selling in, for instance, US marketplace. Is it going to have potential to sell across to another marketplace, for instance, the UK marketplace? If there is, we'll give you some signs and also some opportunity scoring, which I'll talk about later on, in order to help you make a better decision to see whether or not you should launch your product across, right? So how all this data is being, delivered to you is based on like multiple different data dimensions, as you can see over here. It's the tool is also very accurate because it's updated almost on a weekly basis, and we give you the scoring in order to help you, give you like basically the latest data insight to help you make your decision anytime. Okay. So let me just show you the summary of the tools available under Marketplace Product Guidance. So it will be category insights, global product demand, and new selection recommendations. But for today's webinar, I'll only be talking about category insights and global product demand because new selection recommendations will be phasing out because we have a better tool called Opportunity Explorer. Right, so do stay tuned to hear what I'm going to be talking about, the first two different tools, which is super interesting. So how can you access all these three different tools, or like the two tools, right? There are three ways for you to go about doing it. The easiest way, or I think the way where most of my sellers take, is to go to growth, then you click onto Marketplace Product Guidance, right? The second way, which is not very friendly, this is mainly for people who want to expand globally. So maybe they'll chance upon this page. So it'll be under inventory, sell globally, then you need to click on Marketplace Product Guidance. So it's not like the easiest way you can do. Then the third way would be to directly click onto the Seller Central homepage card. I think this will usually only pop up, let's say, if you have a recommendation for product demand, etc. So sometimes for new sellers, you may not see this module card. So which is why if you want to access marketplace product guidance, the best way is to go for the first method, which is to go towards growth and marketplace product guidance. Okay, so there are a couple of things which I will cover, which is, what are these tools, how do we use it, etc. So the first one would be category insights, which is one of the two under the marketplace product guidance. So what it does, it actually gives us item type, keyword level data across these few marketplaces, the US, Germany, UK, and Japan marketplaces, to help you find out what are the products that are demanded or purchased by customers these days, right? If you can see on the screenshot in the slides shown over here, you can filter by the store name down to the category level, product type level, and also the item type keyword. So you can exactly know, for picture frames, what is the demand across a specific time frame, etc. So this is the first level of like filtering you can do. So let's say if you find it hard to click into the different category, product type, item type, keyword, etc., because there's just so many you can click into, I recommend you to use this search bar to directly type the keyword of the item that you want to sell, or you want to see whether there's potential or not, right? Just key in directly and there should be a recommendation directly over there. Okay, so what's good about this, you are able to find out the different data points, which I'll show later on the item level, so you won't be able, you don't have to go to Amazon.com, go and sift out which seller or which category is doing what. We will be able to tell you on an aggregated level already, which is what a lot of sellers are asking us all the time, right? Secondly, it will help you understand what are the demanded ASINs, what are the different features. For instance, maybe for curtain blinds, people are buying white color. So maybe this is something that will help you to innovate on your product or to come up with different variations to offer to customers, right? The third one is actually quite visualization friendly. So everything is in bar charts or is in figures. It's very easy for you to understand and decipher. Of course, if you have any question, you can ask your account manager or ask me directly in this live webinar to clarify any of these matrices. But pretty much everything is quite self-explanatory, which I'll show later on. And the third one is we'll be able to give you the different in-depth matrices. In fact, you'll be able to see across different cards. 30 days, 6 months, 12 months. So you'll be able to see like how's the sales doing like for the past 30 days and up to like 365 days for you to know what is the trend like. Is it still trending? Should I still sell? Should I not sell? Etc. Okay, let me see whether I skipped a page. Okay, I didn't. Okay, so over here, who can use it? This is something that you really need to take note of. I believe many of you here, I think, should have an account ready, right? So let's say if you have an account, you need to make sure you have a professional account. That means you're on a professional selling plan so that you'll be able to access this tool. And something to take note of, this tool doesn't give you data on certain restricted categories. So for instance, grocery or like perishable items, it won't be available within this dashboard. So just take note of that. Okay, so like I mentioned, you'll be able to do the different cards. Oh, something that I forgot to highlight earlier on, if you see there's this bar chart, right? So basically this one talks about the demand of the product. So for instance, let's say it's really clicked into United States, right? So home product is actually one of the highly demanded or highly purchased category that people typically buy, right, on Amazon.com. And let's say if you click into home furniture and decor is the highest, it means this is the category that has the highest demand within this category, and this is the most search after item type keyword over here. So it helps you at a glance know what are the highly demanded categories, especially for sellers, right? Let's say if you don't really know what you want to sell, but you want to find something in a category that has maybe a highest potential because customers are searching for it, then this is the way you can go about doing it. Click into the category or product type that you want simply based on the bar length. Okay, so now I'm moving on to the interesting part of the category insights page already. So if you can see the top part, it shows you the demand and glance view of like this product across the different time frame depending on what you have clicked. So this screenshot shows the last 30 days, okay? That's why it shows you the last 30 days over here. You can see it fluctuates quite a lot. So there might be a possibility maybe because weekends it sells better, or maybe on Monday it sells better. I don't really know what 4th of March or 6th of March is lah. So this will also help you to decide, you know, maybe on certain days I need to run specific promotion because it's a peak period where people are actually buying these items, similar to glance views. Okay, so what's interesting is this bottom part that's highlighted in orange, right? So there are a lot of people that ask for this category that I'm selling in, typically what's the search to purchase ratio? If let's say I run advertising, etc., how much purchase and I'm gonna get, what's the percentage I'm looking at, right? So this is the aggregated value that you can look at the item type level. So it's not a full representative of maybe your product or a similar product. This is just on the item type keyword level, so it's quite broad. If you want to find out more specific ratios, maybe you should use Opportunity Explorer instead. But at least it gives you a glance on what you can expect. Over here, it tells you what's the conversion rate per price range also. So this also gives you kind of a good gauge, like, oh, for this particular item, things that are converting well are within this price range. So you know what kind of product you should sell and how you should be pricing it. Then the second one would be the return ratio, because these are the kind of like, I would say, expenses you need to factor in when you count your P&L, right? So knowing that maybe this category, from what I see, 15.2% is quite high, right? Let me see, this is under, yeah, this is under home furniture and decor, right? So they are saying 15.2% of window curtain panels receive a return, which is actually higher than the product average. If you see the product type average, right, 7.38. So typically it's higher than expected. So you need to expect this kind of thing. Let's say if you want to sell this product, right? Because sometimes sellers will ask me, how come got so many returns? Maybe it's the nature of the product itself. And in fact, how you can reduce the return ratio for the product that you are selling, you can actually look at the reasons for return. Majority of them says that it's unwanted item. So how can you make them wanted? So just analyze your reviews that you are receiving or within this particular niche, etc., in order to make sure that your product is wanted. So maybe you'll reduce the return ratio. So these are the kind of insights that you'll be able to derive from here in order to help you improve on your listing or product so that you'll be able to sell better. Okay, so the next one would be a couple of selection matrix, as you can see over here. So at one glance, you'll be able to know what's the competition like, how many sellers are selling within this item type keyword, what are the number of ASINs, what is the star rating, how many offers, etc. I would say it's very broad, but the most interesting thing I will highlight over here is the advertisement spend, because usually people ask me how much I need to spend, right? So you at a glance, you roughly know the average daily ad spend is 30 cents. But I would say it's quite low lah. Maybe this is on an aggregated level. Usually for each seller, we will recommend your daily ad spend to be at least $10, because usually the clicks are already up to $1, right? So $10 will be a good starting point. But let's say if you want to calculate it in the long run, then 30 cents, I guess, would be a good gauge for in the long run if you start selling for very long already. Okay, so this part is the very interesting part. It talks about the different features that typically sell well for this particular item type keyword. So specifically price range, this $116 is like the most favorable. So maybe you should price around that price range. So white color is the most popular, as it is for most of the product I've seen. White and black usually is the most standard, but people always prefer white. Then picture frame material, people like wood. What is the item weight typically? Because sometimes people will say, oh, it's too heavy. I don't want because it's too heavy. It's so hard to put it up or etc. So these are the nitty-gritty things that you need to take note of when you innovate your product, which is very interesting. Okay, so the next one would be the global product demand. So earlier on, I've been talking about category insights in case you lost me there. So in any case, you missed any part of this, you joined late, because I see that there are people joining in constantly, do take note that it's recorded so that you'll be able to look back at what I've mentioned earlier on, or review this webinar again to do it by yourself when you go back home, or let's say if you're at home, you want to try it out later. Okay, so now I'll just move on to global product demand. So mainly this is for sellers, let's say you're already selling in US marketplace and you're wondering whether you should sell across to UK or Japan or etc. Okay, so global product demand is quite easy to access. You'll be able to access directly via your Seller Central homepage. If let's say you have recommendations over there. This is currently only available for let's say if you are selling in the US marketplace, then you'll recommend you to sell across other marketplace. So if you are selling in, I think, UK marketplace, you won't be recommended for US marketplace. Yeah, which I think applies to most of you, because you're let's say if you are selling, you should be selling in US marketplace, so it should be relevant for you. Okay, this one I briefly talk about it. So who can use it? This is something that you need to take note of, because mainly this is for existing sellers that have been selling for a while. Do take note that you should have earned at least $1 for the past 12 months. Then recommendations will start to appear here and there. Secondly, you need to have a professional selling plan. You can ignore the platinum, gold, or silver. You just need to make sure that you're on a professional selling plan, which is the $39.99, not 9 cents, $9, $39.99 per month plan. And thirdly, there should be a demand for the product that you're selling. And you should be on FBA, which should be the case for most of you. Okay, oops. Let me move up. Okay, so over here, this is the first thing that you need to do when you arrive at the global product demand page. So you need to select the target store. Let's say if you are recommended for multiple stores lah. So you can see where you want to start selling to first, which is your comfort zone. So let's say you want Germany, then you select Germany. So over here, this is like a brief first view you'll be able to see after you select your target score. So they'll show you the product that you are selling, whether there's high demand or not. If you can see, this is under rationale. Then how it's being decided is based on over 150 attributes, which I do not have the full list. Yeah, but basically it's based on all the data that we have collated. Then we decided that this is high demand. On the other hand, the next column, which is super interesting, is the opportunity score. So it's typically range between 750 to 1,000. So the higher the score, the better. So let's say if the opportunity score is 1,000, just go ahead and start trying to sell. Then the third one would be the sales forecast. This is again based on similar products that are already selling. So we do this forecast for you to roughly let you know what's the demand like, because some of you always ask, I don't know whether I will sell well. So at least knowing, let's say the demand is only 100 units. So when you do FBA in that marketplace, maybe you only send in 100 units to make sure that you don't over forecast, then you don't sell well, right? So these are the key 3 things that you can take note of first whenever you enter this page. Okay. Oops, okay. Yeah. So let me highlight the rest, which is also important and good to know, but the first 3 are the most important. These are kind of like the things that we'll recommend you to do or give you more information regarding like this particular ASIN that you are going to sell in the target store, right? So it'll tell you what is your current fulfillment channel, which you should already know, your last offer price, how many units you have shipped, what's your bestseller ranking, etc., which you yourself should know because you're already selling the ASIN. So I wouldn't say this is that important. So the next one would be, how can you go deeper into understanding what are the product demand for this particular product, right? In order to help you know the trends and more stuff, okay, which I'll talk about it later on. So if you can see on the screen at the bottom, let's say if you scroll down, this product that you want to sell across to, let's say Germany, is something that nobody has sold before. It's totally new to the target store. So what it does over here, it will roughly tell you what's the demand like across like 365 days time frame. Again, you'll be able to filter to 7 days, 30 days, 90 days to have a smaller cut to see in depth what's the real trend like. But I think the full year trend will tell you what is the seasonality and what's the full trend like, and when will you enter, right? So in this case, you can see July and November typically sell well. Maybe it sell well because of our tier 1 events, right? So maybe you should inbound more inventory here, or try to start selling way before that so you can take advantage of that. So these are kind of like a few insights you can take away from there. Then the next one is, what are the most popular keywords search for, right, in that target store that you want to sell. So let's say if you run advertising, you create your listing, these are like the keywords that you definitely need to put in, right, to make sure that your product will be searched for. Again, some ASINs may not have this feature because it's a ASIN new totally to a target store. So maybe there isn't any similar ASIN that's currently selling. That's why sometimes for certain products, there isn't this data because there's a lack of data. Yeah. Okay. Then the other interesting one would be the customer review insights. So let's say if there's something similar that's already selling, we'll essentially consolidate what is doing well, what's not doing well, and again, you can innovate accordingly from there. So take note that this is only available for, let's say, if you want to sell across the UK store, and only ASINs with more than 3 comments will appear over here. Okay, so the second one would be, let's say, over here, when you are at the global product demand page, right? Just now what I was talking about was ASINs new to target store. Again, like I mentioned, let's say if your product is totally new to the target store, nobody's really selling over there right now. But second one is, let's say if similar ASINs are being offered by other sellers in the target store, that means your product, maybe someone is already selling it. So how is it gonna potentially do? In fact, if let's say someone is already selling your product, I would say it has higher potential to do well because you already have prior sales data for you to make a decision, right? And in fact, over here, we'll be able to give you more data and for you to understand, how you, in order to help you decide whether you should go into it, basically. Okay. So the first 2 things you see over here is, number 1, how many people are actually selling your products. If there are multiple people already selling, right, go into it and double check. Are they your authorized reseller? How much are they pricing, and are you able to offer it at the similar price so that you'll be able to win the buy box? I mean, if you're already a brand owner, there's already a highly likelihood that you will be able to win the buy box. But again, this will roughly tell you about the competition for your ASIN in that target store. Okay, so let me highlight a few things. Again, over here, we also tell you what's the opportunity score. It's likely that the opportunity score would be much higher because there's already proven success for the ACs that are already selling. So usually it should be higher. But again, if someone's really selling, really, I think you should just go ahead and start selling as well, especially if the sales forecast is high. Okay, going deeper into it, similarly, they do have the demand chart as well, which I will not elaborate again. After that, they do have the customer review insights tab also. Oh, okay, I think that's all for now, for these 2 tabs. All in all, I would say if you're an existing seller, do check it out if you have a recommendation. If you do have one, you can start selling across to the other different marketplaces. In fact, when you scroll all the way down to the page, right, there should be some instructions on how you can actually expand globally. There will be like steps on how you can create the account. Let's say if you already have the account, great. How you can create your listing, how can you send in FBA, etc. If you scroll all the way down by right, there should be some steps. And if you wish to sell across to specifically EU and UK, we do have account managers that may be able to assist you. So do email in to us if you're interested. Let me drop the email down in the chat now at amazon.com. So you can email in if you're interested. Maybe we can route you to one of our account managers. Okay, let me quickly move on to the product research journey overview. So if you have attended Seller Summit, this may be familiar to you. So this will be a refresher course on the things you can do together, tying in both marketplace product guidance as well as opportunity explorer. What can you do in order to decide what to sell, develop a product, and how to scale your brand further? Okay. So this one I've already talked about it earlier on, but I would like to highlight the use case over here. So let's say if you want to start selling a particular product, you don't really know, you just want to start selling, you don't know what category you want to sell in, right? So you can use category insights to find out what are the high demand categories, like I mentioned, based on the bar, right? The bar length that you see within this page over here. You'll be able to know, for instance, home and kitchen, curtains, window panels are doing well, right? There are many other matrices that are available at the bottom, which I've talked about earlier on, in order to help you make your decision whether you should sell. So this is like the first card you can take. So the second one is to use Product Opportunity Explorer, especially if, let's say, you're already a seller on Amazon, you'll have more things within your Opportunity Explorer dashboard. So these are the three things you can see. First is, let's say, if you're already selling, what are the different niche within your category that you can consider selling? Number two is, what are the increasing searches by customers? So if you're okay or open to selling something that is not within your category, maybe this is something that you can consider selling as well. The third one is niche with opportunity to improve quality. So there's a high likelihood maybe the reviews is actually quite low, or there's Amazon actually found opportunities for you to innovate certain products. So if you can see, right, the first thing over here, Real B water pump. Maybe it's selling well, but actually all the reviews say the noise level maybe is too loud. So if you can come up with a water pump that can reduce with reduced noise level, right, then it will be great. Okay, so here's the summary of the different use cases on how you can actually use Product Opportunity Explorer in order to meet your objective, right? Depending on what kind of objective you want to hit when you start selling a product, which I'll go more in depth into it later on, and to show you how I can actually filter the different selections to find out all this data. Okay, so the first one is, let's say you want to find a particular product that has high search volume and has low competition. So when you go onto Opportunity Explorer, search for the niche. In this case, I've searched for window curtain rod, right? So I filtered down by search volume as well as top click product. In fact, at the top right corner, there will be a download button for you to download the data, which is what I did here on the slide. So when I filter them, you know, and rank them on Excel sheet, in fact, it's easier for me to see who is doing well across the different matrix. Then from there, maybe the greenish one are the ones that you can potentially start with for now. So these are the ones that I've shortlisted over here. Okay, so just take note, search volume and top click product. So the next one would be how to find things that have high growth, right? At the same time, of course, when they are high growth, you also want to make sure the demand size is there, which is why I also filtered by search volume. Because let's say if it's growing by 100%, but the search volume is only 1,000, then what's the point, right? So over here, filter by these two, again, you can export the data and you'll be able to see at one glance which one has high search volume and decent search volume growth, which in this case I've shortlisted these two. So maybe I can specifically highlight this. Curtain rod snow drilling has 3 million search volume and 113% search growth, which is pretty good. If you see, there are some that have 1,000% search volume growth, right? You see the search volume is only 92,000. So it's too small for you to go into, right? So do take note of the search volume size also. Okay, the next one would be, let's say if you want to sell an item at a particular price so that you can get back certain margins, right? Especially if you are selling from Southeast Asia, you have to ship all the way to the US. So sometimes maybe you need to price it a bit higher for you to have a decent margin. So in order for you to find out what kind of product you need to sell, you can also set what's the average price that you roughly want to sell at, and it will populate to you what are the niche within this category that you have searched for that meets your objective of like the price that you see over here. So again, you can filter in order to shortlist which are the products that are within this price range and also have high search volume. Okay, this one is actually more important than use case 3. It actually talks about the annualized opportunity niche. So what are the products that you should sell in order to hit your sales goal, right? There are a lot of people that tell me I want to earn $30,000, but then the product that they are selling in can't even earn $30,000, right? Because the market size is too small. So over here, I'll recommend you to search by like the average price as well as the average unit sold in order to see are there any niche that can meet this filtered range. So what I mean by this is, let's say if you want to sell at $15, right, the average price, and you target to sell about 1,000 units, this will earn you about 15,000 in the entire year. So if this is your goal, then good for you, right? You need to work backwards based on this figure sometimes. Let's say if you have a goal, in order to find out what are the niche that will be able to provide you. So you can adjust accordingly. So let's say if you want to earn $20,000, right? Then your average price is still $15. Then you just 20,000 divided by $15 to find out how many units you need to sell. So we'll tell you what are the products have potential to sell 2,000 units, for example. Okay. So this is what I've roughly shortlisted based on the different use cases I've used. I actually found out that this curtain rod snow drilling have some kind of a potential based on the time that I did this research. So the search volume is above 1 million. The search volume growth is pretty high, it's above 100%. The number of top click products only 28, so maybe there's potential for you to go in. Average unit sold is within this range and average price is still okay, manageable, assuming this is my goal. Okay, now I'll talk about the Opportunity Explorer and the different tabs over here. Mainly, I'll talk about products, insights, trends, and customer review insights first. So if you click on the Products tab, it basically tells you what are the different products, like top products that are currently selling. In fact, you are able to click into it to see what is the offer price, price range, etc. to basically give you an idea or more information on your competitor products so that you can do your own research further. The next one would be the Insights tab, which I think is really important. So here are like the few key matrices that I would specifically like to highlight. So number one would be percentage of product using sponsored product. It basically tells you how many percent of the product within this niche are using sponsored product advertising, right? If let's say lesser people are using advertising, maybe this is where you can go in aggressive on advertising in order to bid for the keywords to get more glance view, get more impressions for your customers in order to get sales conversion, right? So that would be an opportunity. So I would say most of the product will have quite high sponsored product. It is also a sign which tells you if you don't run advertising, it's going to be hard for you to sell within this category. So the next one would be percentage of prime products, right? It tells you how many products within this niche are using FBA. In fact, most of the niche that I have researched on usually are all above 90%, unless you're selling bulky, like really bulky furnitures, etc. Then maybe the prime product percentage is actually lower. So if it's above 90%, just do FBA. If you don't do FBA, you'll lose out. The next one would be more of like a competitive matrix. It will tell you what's the click share of top 5 or top 20 in order for you to understand whether it's a competitive category for you to go in. Is there still opportunity? Yeah. If it's really competitive, which in this case it seems quiet because top 20 products are dominating the click share, right? Then maybe you need to do something really different in order for you to sell well. Right, you cannot sell something that's exactly the same. It's going to be hard for you to win existing products. So there's always an opportunity, right? And it's what kind of opportunity you want to take in order to sell in this category. Okay, so the next one would be the trends tab. So it tells you, I think across the 365 days, what is the trend like? So you can see that it typically does better during the I would say summer or July-ish period. So this is the time where maybe you need to launch around the April, May period so that you have some time to ramp up your sales all the way here in order to do well and take advantage of the peak season, right? Next one is customer review insights. So very important to understand what is doing well, what's not doing well, so that you'll be able to adapt accordingly. So specifically on a negative review, people are saying that this product falls apart easily, didn't last, broke within last week. So maybe you need to work on the durability of your product, and if you can work on that, maybe it's something that will help you gain more click share of your products when you start selling. So doesn't mean that you're a new seller, you won't be able to sell well. If you are able to cater to the unmet demand of customers, you will still be able to sell well, even though Amazon.com is such an established marketplace really. So there's still opportunities as long as you are able to innovate, differentiate yourself. So I would say differentiation is super important if you want to sell on Amazon US. Okay, so the next one, which is also very important, is about profitability. So how to make sure that you are pricing your product correctly such that you are earning a decent margin. So we do have this thing called the revenue calculator, which maybe Jinya can only paste in the chat. Yeah, so revenue calculator will help you to understand what are the different Amazon costs involved so that you'll be able to adjust your pricing or shipping costs, etc. accordingly to make sure that you earn a decent margin. So there's two ways for you to find the profitability. Number one is to search for existing product. Number two is to put in your dimensions directly, item price and shipping charge. So over here, this is an example of a curtain rod, no drilling that I found. So the item price is $25.90. So after I search for this existing product on Amazon catalog, I actually found out that the referral fee is $3.89. Fulfillment cost is $11, maybe because it's bulky and heavy. Storage cost usually is the least of your concern. It's really quite affordable and this is charged on a monthly basis. Then there are a few fields that I would like to especially highlight, which is cost of goods sold. Remember to put in how much your product costs. Then shipping to the US, roughly you can put in how much does it cost to ship to the US for you to count your profitability. Number three, which is super important, but some sellers will always leave this out, will be miscellaneous costs, like advertising and merchandising costs. Merchandising is like, for instance, you run a 20% off during Black Friday. So these are the things that you need to take note of because it's like your business expense. So how can you find out what is your advertising cost, right? You can leverage on the category insights tool, which I talked about earlier on, to find out what is the advertisement spend on an aggregated level. You can also find out what is the return ratio, right? Like I mentioned, you can factor this in order as your expense as well. Okay, so this is a summary of what I found out as well using Opportunity Explorer. This product will need to do FBA. You can launch earlier in March so that you can ramp up before the July period where it's doing well. Then must have is easy installation, ease of use, good quality. Certain things that you can do to differentiate yourself will be durability, functionality, and make sure that it doesn't chip the wall pane if possible. Okay, so now moving forward, let's say if you have already started selling, just started selling, or be it you are already selling for very long, how can you optimize your listing further? You can leverage on search terms, which is a very useful tab under Opportunity Explorer. These are a few things you can do in order, or I would say the matrix that you can take note of in order to further optimize your listing. So I would highlight the first three first, which would be search volume growth, and search conversion rate. You can export the data again for you to have an easy read. So once I exported it, I also color it accordingly to the ranking so that I'll be able to see at one glance which keyword have potential for me to run advertisement on, and also for me to put it in the listing search term portion, right? So over here, these are a couple of search terms I've identified to be potential, and I can probably double down on bidding. because you see the search conversion is above 1%. Search volume is also quite high. That means there's potential. People are really searching for it, and it's really growing, right? It's really high growth. That means recently most of these keywords people are searching for it. You wouldn't want to, let's say, bid for this search term, curtain rod snow drilling over blinds, even though it's 129k search volume, right? But the search volume is actually declining by 73%. So maybe this is not something that you need to spend your money on. Okay, then the last one would be top 3 click products. So you'll be able to know what are the products that you can do product targeting on. Because under sponsored product advertising, you have this thing called product targeting, right? So firstly, just take a look at what are the top click products. Then make sure that it's relevant, you are price competitive. Then maybe you can run advertisement on those products in order to divert them back to your listing so that you'll be able to steal their traffic away or their customers away. So this is like one tactic you can use. Oh, another thing that I just want to quickly highlight, just take note that if you are a brand owner, you can leverage on this thing called the brand analytics in order to gather further data on how you can optimize which. Let's say if you're coming for our Thursday event, if you're a Singapore seller, you'll be talking more about Amazon brand analytics, how it can help you with selection. Okay, so over here, I've already talked about marketplace product guidance earlier on, right? So I just want to share with you some use cases on how you can use the marketplace product guidance after you have launched your product. So number one would be, let's say this person called Rocky, they already do well in the US, but how can you sell better in other countries? So what you need to do in this case is to use the global product demand tool, right? You have your source store as United States, search for the target store. Then look at the opportunity score over here. As I said, the higher the better. So you can filter to see the highest score, which in this case, in this screenshot is 960. Then you can look at the different data, new to target store and also offered by other sellers in this target store to help you make the decision on what's the potential demand. Is it high or low risk for you to go into it, right? Let's say if it's a product that are already offered by other sellers, I would say just go into it because there's already prior sales data to prove to you that there's a demand for your product. The next one would be use case 2. So Jane and Tom wants to know what product does better on Amazon US before they expand their catalog. So this one, like I emphasized, I think for the second or third time, you'll use this tool called the category insights to find out what are the top categories and item type, keyword, etc. for you to go into. Again, look at the bar length in order for you to decide what are the top categories that you want to start selling in. Then there are multiple matrices at the bottom to help you further decide whether this is really a feasible decision. Okay, maybe I can pass my time back to Jin Liang now.
Okay, thank you, Ethan. Thanks for sharing so much useful information for our sellers here today. So I got one question from the registrant. So if you have other questions, let us know in the chat box, huh? Now the first question, or rather the only question I got is, how do I start selling in Amazon here in Philippines? So I would say as a start, you can check out our Perfect Jumpstart and Launch Playbook. So over there, you will have sufficient information to guide you on how you can launch your Amazon store from scratch in the first 90 days. You can do a quick scan. So this is a one-pager guide, not really one-pager, but a playbook that is developed by Seller University. So that's the useful guide that I can share with you. So I believe there might be other experience that maybe Ethan could also share. What do you think would be good for seller who want to start selling besides looking at the launch playbook?
Let me send this. Okay, apart from launch playbook, what are the things that you need to take note of? Is it? I would say there are many other resources like Seller University, Jing Liang has mentioned, right? There are also like live webinar which you can attend. That is readily available. But let's say if you need a dedicated person to help you with, which is why account managers like myself are here to help you with, do make sure to reply to the emails that we send to you. So usually it will be from our own email. Reply back and let us know that you need help, right? If you just registered your account, started selling, or haven't started selling and you do not have an account manager, please email in to us. Again, it's the same email that I sent earlier on. Let us know and we will help you find an account manager that could support you with your account. Right? I think account manager support, I think, is one of the best things you can get, and it's free. You do not have to pay for it. But the bare minimum is that we require you to have a professional selling plan. Reason being, because if you do not have a professional selling plan, we can't really help you with much, right? Because you do not have access to quite a number of tools and also benefits. So at least have a professional selling plan. Email us or reply back to us if you need help, and we'll definitely help you with that. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, speaking of the plan, right, I shared earlier on as well, if you scroll up, there is a promotion on the fee waiver going on now. So you just need to pay $1 USD and then you get to access the professional selling plan for 6 months. So do check out the link above I shared if you have not signed up for your professional selling account yet. All right, we'll move on to the next one. So this is what Ethan mentioned also. You can find a lot of very useful information developed by the Seller University team, where you can get access to the training materials, and also you can help you keep track of your learning progress on your account as well. All right, we have reached the end of the session. I hope I still got my voice. Now let's look at the questions. I think we have one question, so we will read it out for the benefit of those who rewatch the recording. Oh, there's a few questions actually. Okay. Okay, maybe I read out the first one. All right, the first one is regarding question about brand registry. Right, the seller asks, now if I have a pending trademark, my product is still in discussion with the manufacturer. When going through the application, I saw that it was required to input the ASIN. Do I need an ASIN in order to complete the registration? So I just responded that actually that field is optional. Even though it's not indicated, so you can submit all the information that is required there. But I actually tested it that you don't really need the ASIN during the brand registry steps. So don't worry, you can go ahead and submit your brand registry application. Thank you. Okay, second question from Janelle. Can we list product without brand registry? So thanks, Ethan, for the response, right? So Janelle, you can actually list a product without brand registry. So if you wish to list under your own brand name without trademark, you may get a brand exemption. Search for GTIN exemption under Seller Central bar.
Yeah. Maybe I can further elaborate. So usually when sellers get GTIN exemption, they get GTIN and brand exemption at the same time. So sometimes it might not be that, I think, friendly. Sometimes it's also called brand qualification approval as well, right? So if let's say you really need that, and anyways, you can also raise a case with seller support and let them know directly. Yeah.
Got it. All right, we have a next question. Now this might be a little bit, more interesting. Can I list product with Philippine trademark?
Yeah. Unfortunately, currently Amazon do not accept the Philippines trademark. Especially if you sell in the US, usually we'll recommend you to enroll with a US trademark. So if let's say you want to list with a trademark, I'll recommend you to file for a US trademark directly. In fact, if you get a US trademark, apart from the brand building tools that you'll be able to get access to, which is like A+ content, stores, etc., you also will get the opportunity to be protected in the US, right? You'll be able to be eligible for report of violation, automated brand protection, so that Amazon will be able to help you automatically take down counterfeiters, and also for you to report any counterfeiters or copywriters, let's say if you do see that. So in the long run, if you really want to sell on the Amazon US marketplace, it's best to get a US trademark anyways. And I think there are some Philippines provider that will be able to do it at a cheaper rate for US trademark. Not sure if you have the guide where you can send. Maybe I can send a guide.
I think I have the SG one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe you can send. Maybe I can find a guide and send it to you, so that maybe you can reach out to a Philippines provider for you to file for a US trademark. Anyway, usually it takes about 1 to 2 weeks. But worst come to worst, let's say if you want to get a US trademark, you can also still list without brand registry. Yeah.
Okay. I think the next one you have answered, right? Eventually, if we plan to keep selling on Amazon, will we need to register for a trademark for both US and PH?
Yeah, it's not compulsory again, but let's say if you want to sell on US marketplace, I'll recommend you to get a US trademark. The Philippines trademark wouldn't be effective. So usually the trademark is we can only help you enforce if you have the trademark in that particular marketplace. So again, let's say if you want to sell in Singapore marketplace or Australia marketplace, it's always recommended for you to get like Singapore trademark or Australia trademark as well. Yeah, in the long run. Yeah, for the benefit also for you to protect your brand. Yeah.
Okay, one more question. If we do not have a brand registry, does that mean that we will have limited access to Seller Central tools?
I would say you will have limited benefits or limited access to certain tools, in fact. Because maybe I can highlight some of the tools that you'll be eligible for if, let's say, you have a brand registry. So first one would be the brand building tools, right? So brand building tools would be, let's say, creating A+ content, which is the infographic you see under certain people's listing. Then you'll be able to build a brand store. You'll be able to have access to brand analytics reports. I think there are about 6 reports that talks about repeat purchase behavior, market basket size behavior, search query performance, which will really, really help you to optimize your listing and also help you to earn more money because you know like the keywords that customers are searching for. And on top of that, some of the useful ones will be buying programs. So if you just started selling on Amazon.com, you are unable to get reviews yourself, right? As a brand owner, you can participate and enroll into buying program, give your products away for free, and also get your first few listing reviews. And another one which I think I would like to highlight would be the brand customer review. So there are a lot of people that tell us like, hey, I have low reviews. So how can I remove the review or talk to the customer to see whether they can take out the bad reviews? So we do have this brand customer review feature only for brand owners that are enrolled into brand registry, there where you are able to reach out or contact customers that left you low ratings. We do have ready templates for you to use as well in order to mitigate and help you to make sure your listing has like good ratings like as much as possible. So these are just some of the brand building tools. And apart from that, I also highlighted some brand protection tools. Let's say if you have a US trademark, which would be like automated brand protection, report of violation. All these tools are only available, let's say you are brand registered. There are a few others which maybe I may have left out, or like advertising tools as well. There's a full suite of tools. Maybe what Jingyang can do is for him to send over a guide on what brand registry can provide. And I would seriously recommend all of you over here to get a US trademark as much as possible. Yeah, when you start selling.
Thank you. Yeah. So we ran a session on the brand building tool as well. So to add on, there's other things like social media codes. You can do A/B testing for your listing. And then you can also send out emails to your followers, etc. All right. Okay, there's one last question. Okay. Once the application for brand registry is submitted, right? How long does it take to be effective? And second one is for the buying program. How do you arrange for the product to be sent to the reviewers?
So after you have submitted for your application for a brand registry, right? That means you fill out the form on Amazon, right? Usually it should take within a week if there are not much issues. Sometimes they may need to investigate or review further, but usually it should take within 1 week. If you have any issue, you can reach out to your account manager, which I think is myself, because I recognize your name. Yeah. Then the second part of the question you mentioned is the buying program. How do you arrange for the product to be sent? The good news is you do not have to arrange yourself. As long as your product is inbounded into FBA already, the buying program will directly take the product from your FBA inventory to send it to the buying reviewers. So you only just have to enroll into the program and Amazon will help you handle everything. So don't have to worry.
Thank you. Now coming back, let me see if we have more questions. Looks like that's all we have for now. All right, so if you have more questions, do press enter now. If not, we will be ending soon. So just to share, we have more webinars coming up in November. We have as well as December. So there's one last webinar this Thursday, and then the December webinar is also out in the webinars and event page. So do head on there and sign up for any topic you're interested in. All right, let me look one final.
Yeah, maybe give me a while. Let me send the Philippines the guide. Give me a while. Let me stop sharing first. Give me a while. Let me send over the Philippines guide so that let's say if you need a US trademark, you can reach out to the Philippines provider. I have it.
Is the guide uploaded on like our?
I'm not too sure.
Okay.
Maybe I can send it to you then.
Yeah, I can put on the description in the video as well.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Okay, let me put it in the chat box here. Philippines provider guide. I believe one of the IP firm is actually running a promotion just for Amazon sellers, so feel free to reach out. I've sent it in the chat as well for, let me see what's her name. Janelle, I think. Yeah.
Okay. I will also put this link under the video description when I upload the video. Yeah. All right. Did we miss out anything?
No. I think it should be fine. Okay, so if there are no other questions from the attendees here, thank you everyone for your time, and thank you, Ethan, for joining us in this webinar. We will see you soon again in the next webinar. Thank you, and goodbye, everyone. Thanks, everyone. Bye. Bye.